So for this review today, I decided not to wear any of my Jurassic Park t-shirts or my Jurassic Park dressing gown, which I think tells you everything you need to know about my thoughts on this film. Jurassic World Dominion. So Jurassic World Dominion is directed by Colin and it's the final film in the Jurassic Park/Jurassic World franchise. And basically the film once again follows Claire and Owen, once again played by Bryce Howard and Chris Pratt in this movie, as they're trying to coexist with dinosaurs whilst looking after Maisie Lockwood, also known as Clone Girl in this movie, who everyone is looking for. And at the same time though, we are reintroduced to the original Jurassic Park cast and their characters, played by Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum and Dern, who are basically investigating things that are going on behind the scenes in this new world where basically dinosaurs are out in the open. And that may as well be the plot for Jurassic World Dominion, because honestly, I found this film to be monumentally disappointing. And that's saying a lot, it really is. Because I'm a fan of the first Jurassic World film. I think that's a really fun film. And I think The Lost World Jurassic Park is the perfect Jurassic Park sequel. And I love the first Jurassic Park film. I think it's amazing. But this film is just so bad. It really is, and it pains me to say that, because this was one of my most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. It's one of my most anticipated movies of 2022, and it's just rubbish. It really is. And it's pulling in all these different directions, and it feels rushed, and it feels like it's been splattered together, and it doesn't feel complete. It doesn't feel like a conclusion to this franchise. It just feels like another film in the franchise. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to make another film like 3 years later now. I really wouldn't, which is a bit saddening to say, because I wanted this to feel like a conclusion. I even made a video about, 1 or 2 weeks ago, all about the fact that I wanted this movie to feel like a conclusion. The fact that I wasn't really excited about this movie. Well, I was, actually no, I'll take that back. I was excited for this movie, but I wasn't as excited as I wanted to be. I was still very excited to see this film. In fact, I would have gone to see it the day it came out, but I was a bit busy that day. But the thing is though, I'm recording this on Monday now, and I went to go and see the film yesterday on Sunday, and I couldn't see it on Saturday because I was feeling really unwell. But I went to go and see the film yesterday, even so I was still feeling unwell yesterday. I went to go and see it, and I still had a really bad experience with it. But I was really excited to see it though. I was really excited to see it, and then I came out of the cinema just feeling so, deflated and disappointed, and just like, what did I just watch? And by the way, I should say, side note here, I'm not feeling that well again today, so I do apologise if I fluff up my words, or I don't make my points particularly well, or I just, ramble on, because I'm not feeling that well whatsoever. I'm feeling dizzy, I'm feeling a bit cold, that's why I've got this jacket on here, and I'm also feeling very much under the weather. And at the same time, I'm bummed up because there's hay fever at the moment. I've got some really bad hay fever right now, so I do apologise if it sounds a bit weird as well. But yes, nevertheless, I'm going to go on with this review no matter what, but I'm just not feeling that well, so I do apologise in advance if I ramble on a bit too much. But yes, this film is just rubbish. It really is, and it pains me to say that. It really does. And you've got all these interesting elements on the surface in this movie. You've got all these really cool elements, like the original, you've got the original cast coming back from the first Jurassic Park. You have Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Dern coming back, which on the surface sounds so cool, but you don't have the feels when they do come back in this movie. It's kind of nice seeing them back at first, like, oh, that's kind of cool, and you have a bit, or, the original Jurassic Park theme by John Williams playing in the background, you have that playing in the background. But then, but then it doesn't really feel like they are back. That's the problem though. They come back and it's like, oh, they're back. But then, there's no solid reason for them being back in this movie. There's no reason why they haven't been in the previous 2 Jurassic World films. There's no solid reason for that. I mean, I know Jeff Goldblum was in the last Jurassic World film a slight little bit, but he didn't have a huge one in that movie. It was only like one scene from what I can remember. And I haven't seen, I haven't seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for a long while, by the way, because I'm not really a fan of that movie. But the thing is, though, there's no explanation of where they've really been for all this time and what they've been doing. And at the same time, though, one of the things which really annoyed me about the reintroduction to, Sam Neill's character, Alan Grant, was the fact that he was still a paleontologist, like he is in the first Jurassic Park film, which makes sense in that film because they haven't actually seen the dinosaurs yet. That's the whole point of the first movie. There's a whole big sequence where they see the dinosaurs. It's amazing in the first movie, which Asper's character John Hammond is like, "Welcome to Jurassic Park. It's great. great. But then in this movie, one of the things which really annoyed me off the bat with the Alan Grant character played by Sam Neill. By the way, Sam Neill is still really good in this movie. I'm not disregarding his performance. He's still good in this film. But one of the things that really annoyed me was the fact that when we were reintroduced to, Alan Grant, he's still a paleontologist. And the reason is science and truth. I'm like, what? No. That just, what are you on about? No, this wouldn't exist. It wouldn't happen anymore. And like, oh god, there's so many things annoying like that. Like, Laura Dern, again, is great in the movie. Laura Dern, Academy Award winning actress, brilliant marriage story, which she won an Academy Award for, and she's great again here. But her plotline is she's looking for locusts. That's not even a joke. That's her plotline in the film. And then Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum's quite good in the movie, actually. Jeff Goldblum's probably my favourite of the original characters returning, because he actually supports the narrative, which I'll get on a bit later. But, yes, Jeff Goldblum's really good in the movie, and I did enjoy seeing him back as well. But the thing is that when they came back, I wanted to feel more emotion than just, oh, look, it's the original Jurassic Park back. Why? Because we can. That's what this movie feels a lot like. We can do all this because we can. There's this whole storyline with, Laura Dern's character, Ellie Sattler, and, Sam Neill's character, Alan Grant, and much of that storyline feels like we're just throwing things at the wall. Like, we're doing all this because we can. Like, we're going to have this dinosaur in here. Why? Because we can. We're going to have this dinosaur show up here. Why? Because we can. It just kind of feels like, Colin Trevorrow and the other writers of the movie, because Colin Trevorrow is a, co-writer on the film, it does really feel like the writers sat around in a room together and went, well, what haven't we had in a Jurassic film yet? What haven't we had? Because we can put that in this movie. And all the things that were good about the previous Jurassic films, even some of the NAF films, even some of the films that were bad overall, what were the good parts of those movies? Because we can have them in here as well. And that's what it feels like. And it really annoys me that. So much of this film doesn't feel original. And then the parts that are original, the parts that are new and unique, don't feel exciting enough and just boring. I hate using that phrase. I really do when it comes to this channel. I hate using the phrase boring, but it's the truth because it's just so tedious. Some of the new storylines in the movie, like this whole story to do with Clone Girl, and everyone's after Clone Girl. Why? I still don't really pick up on that, but everyone's after Clone Girl. Okay, that's fine. But something new and exciting about that. It's just kind of like, oh, okay. Why are we still following through the plotline of Clone Girl from the last Jurassic World film? Why isn't the film more about the dinosaurs? And why are we focusing on Clone Girl so much? Also, there's this whole new plotline to do with locusts. Why? Because, well, it's something new and unique. Yes, but what's actually adding to the story? How is it exciting? How is it compelling to watch? The answer is, it isn't. And then there's all these parts in the movie which is just like big fan service. Like, do you remember this part from the first Jurassic Park film that you actually loved? Well, we're putting it again here. Remember this part from The Lost World that you actually really liked? Well, we're going to put it again here. Remember this part from Jurassic Park 3 which you really liked? Well, we're going to put it again here. Well, remember this part from Jurassic World which you really liked? Well, we're going to do it again here. And remember this little section from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom which you really liked? Well, we're going to do that again here. There's so many parts of the film like that, and that annoys me. Say what you will about The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Personally, I love that movie. Personally, I think it's the perfect Jurassic Park sequel. I still think it's the best Jurassic Park sequel to date as well. But say about that movie, but at least it does stuff which is new and exciting. This movie doesn't. And, yes, you could say the same about, the first Jurassic World film. The first Jurassic World film relies a lot on fan service. But it doesn't bother me in that movie, because that's how you make a Jurassic sequel 14 years after the atrocity of Jurassic Park 3. That's how you make a good Jurassic sequel. But here, they need to get away from the fan service. They really do. I actually remember saying in my big in-depth review of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the last film in this franchise before this film, I remember saying they need to get away from fan service in the final film of this franchise. But they don't get away from it. They just dive deeper into it. And it's like annoying. It really is. Like, just get away from fan service. I don't mind the fan service in movies. I really don't. I enjoy fan service in things like Star Wars. I enjoy fan service in Ghostbusters Afterlife. I enjoy fan service in the first Jurassic World film, and so on and so on and so on. But I don't enjoy it in this movie. There's just something which is condescending and patronised about it, and just makes your audience go, oh god. It just makes your audience wish that they were watching the first Jurassic Park movie, or The Lost World, or even Jurassic Park 3. I hate Jurassic Park 3, but I've got to admit, I kind of think Jurassic Park 3 is a bit better than this film. I really do. Which leads me on to my next criticism. This film doesn't feel Jurassic enough. It doesn't feel like a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World film. There's no wow moment where you see like 2 T-Rexes like you do in The Lost World. Like there's a brilliant scene in The Lost World where Eddie, you know, Richard Schiff's character is trying to save all the people hanging off the trailer, and he's, you know, pulling the car, and he looks over and he sees one T-Rex and he looks over to see the other T-Rex, and it's a brilliant scene in The Lost World. It is, it's so good. Or there's no wow moment like there was in the first Jurassic Park movie where you see the Brachiosaurus for the first time, or where you see the T-Rex for the first time in the movie, where, you know, you see the T-Rex coming in and eat the Velociraptors at the end of the movie. There's no wow moment like that. There's also no wow moment like there is in Jurassic World, where you like see the Indominus Rex for the first time, just things like that. You get the point I'm trying to say. There's no wow moment in this movie, and there's not enough uses of the original Jurassic Park music as well, like the original Jurassic Park theme, whether it's, you know, dun da da dun da da dun da dun da dun, or whether it's, you know, bum 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 da da dun da dun bum bum. There's not enough uses of those themes, and that's saying something, because this film relies a lot on fan service, which I've already mentioned, but it doesn't use the themes that much, which is a bit weird. Like, I'm a huge fan of Michael Giacchino, and I think his score for the film is fantastic, and I'm not criticising him for the problems with the music, because in the end, the music in the film, the music in any movie, is what a director wants from the music of that film. Hopefully it made sense there, but essentially, when you're dealing with a score for a movie, it's what the director wants from the film music. If the director wants the Jurassic Park theme here, he will say, and things like that. So I do think that Michael Giacchino did a great job with the score for this film overall, but the problem is, it doesn't have any memorable moments when the original Jurassic Park theme is used. I can't even remember one moment in this film, and I'm not joking here, and I'm not lying either, I'm being completely and utterly honest. I can't remember one moment when, you know, the bum 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 ba da dum da dum dum. I can't remember one moment when that theme was actually used in this movie. I can remember a couple of moments when the theme, you know, dun da da dum da da dum da dum da dum, was faintly used in the background of this film. But other than that, I was really disappointed by the music, and I'm not dissing Michael Giacchino. I think he did a great job doing the score for this film because it's what the director wanted. I'm criticising Colin Trevorrow for not having enough uses of the Jurassic Park theme in there. I really am, because it's a Jurassic Park film. Okay, it's Jurassic World, but still, it's got the original Jurassic Park cast back. Use the theme music more. I don't understand why they didn't even in the credits. I see in the credits going, where's the original Jurassic Park theme? Okay, it's used a little bit at the very end of the credits. What? That's really disappointing in my opinion as well. And there's so many things like that in this movie which has really annoyed me. Like the action sequences, like the open action sequence of the movie. I once heard Chris Pratt say in an interview, and I think I did, I might be misremembering this again, but, you know, I once heard Chris Pratt say in an interview that the opening action sequence of this movie is one of the best action sequences he's ever seen in cinematic history. Wow. You know, wow, because the opening action sequence felt so sloppy and felt so just choppy as well, and just chunky, and like, what's going on here? Why is this not exciting anymore? It just feels rushed, and the action sequences aren't, you know, done well. I just don't think they are. And then also, the dialogue in this movie is unbelievably corny and cringeworthy. And they even actually say it's corny in the film. I'm like, it's just meant to be like an in-text reference. And we're meant to be kind of like, oh, it's meant to be corny. We're meant to go along with the fact that it's corny. But the dialogue is kind of painful to listen to. Especially in the first scene when you're reintroduced, you know, Claire, Noah, and Chris Pratt and Bryce as Howard's characters. And it's like, oh, why is the dialogue so unbelievably bad here? And also, the film is, okay, it's not badly shot. There's some good cinematography in this movie, and there's some good composition in the shots as well, but it's badly directed. Colin Trevorrow, in my opinion, isn't an awful director. He did a good job with the first Jurassic World film, in my opinion. But at the same time, though, he's done an awful job here. And I remember reading a couple of months back as well, and again, I might be misremembering my information, but I don't think I am. But I remember reading a couple of months back that, you know, Colin Trevorrow had finished this film completely in November of 2021. What? Did he rush it or something? Did he think of it like homework? Like, if I get it over earlier, that's it, I've got the rest of the day free. That's often how I feel with work all the time. Did he have that same mentality though? Like, I don't understand that mentality. How did he finish this movie that many months ago? How did he think it was perfect? How do you think he couldn't change anything? Because, first of all, the film is way too long, but that's not even one of the biggest issues of the film. It's way too long, but that's not even the film's biggest issue. But at the same time, no, the film isn't really held well together, and the direction just feels sloppy and not exciting enough. This is a dinosaur movie. You know, the direction should feel exciting. It should feel like you're edge of your seat, like Steven Spielberg did with the first two Jurassic Park films, in my opinion. And it should feel like, it should be exciting, that's what I'm trying to say. And I do feel Colin Trevorrow did that with the first Jurassic World film, but he didn't do it with this one, which is just odd. And it's annoying, and at the same time, though, so much of the CGI feels unfinished as well. It really does, especially like in the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie. I was sitting there going, the CGI doesn't look, you know, as good as it should do. I feel they should have had more time with CGI in this movie, which again is odd, seeing this movie was apparently completely in the can in November of 2021. What the hell was Colin Trevorrow doing in the meantime? I understand that marketing and things like that may need to happen, but at the same time, though, many movies are finished like a couple of months before release. I don't understand what Colin Trevorrow thought was finished back in November 2021. I really don't. And also, the film just, it doesn't feel like a conclusion. You know, you don't even have to impress me that much with this film. You really don't. I don't think the first Jurassic World movie is anything particularly special, but I think it's a really fun and exciting time. And whenever I watch the movie, I have a really good time with it. But things are, I thought this movie from the trailers, this is from the trailers here, I'm not speculating this from anything else, but from the trailers, I speculated that this movie was going to be about people trying to coexist with dinosaurs. And we're going to see the cast of this movie, you know, Chris Pratt, Bryce, Jeff Goldblum, Mamoudou, Dern, and Sam Neill, and so on and so on and so on. I thought we were going to see that all the cast come together, the cast from the original Jurassic Park movies and the cast from the Jurassic World movies come together and try and save people from being eaten from dinosaurs. And at the same time, I thought that you're going to see dinosaurs wreaking havoc over landscapes and famous, you know, landmarks all over the world. I thought that was what's going to happen. And you do get a bit of that in this movie, but not nearly as much as what the trailers are indicating. Honestly, the trailers lied to me. Like, I'm not even just building this film with my head. I wasn't building this film with my head. You know, I'd seen the trailers for this film. I wasn't just building this with my head. I saw the trailers and thought, oh, it's going to be like, you know, an end of the world, you know, apocalyptic dinosaur movie. Go on, I'm all for that. But it's not. Like, there's 10 minutes of the movie, which is that, which I love that 10 minutes of this film. I absolutely adore that 10 minutes. But then there's this whole section of the film, and I'm not going to go into spoiler because this isn't a spoiler review. But, you know, there's this whole section of the film where they basically just do the whole park idea again. Where they basically just do the whole original Jurassic Park idea all over again. And that really, really frustrates me. It really did. Like, why doing that again? We did that with the original Jurassic Park. It was fantastic. It was incredible in that movie. We did it in Jurassic World. Okay, it made sense in that movie. It worked, in my opinion. But we're doing it again here. Why? Because we can. Because the writers want to. Because we're throwing everything at the wall. Because we can. And it just, that annoys me. Like, why wasn't this film just dinosaurs wreaking havoc all over the world? You know, dinosaurs are just, you know, normalised in the world of this movie. I don't understand why it's the case. I don't understand why there's no sense of awe, wonder, or joy in this movie, but no sense of adventure. You know, I was watching the trailer thinking, oh my god, you know, this film looks expansive. It looks like they're going all over the world. Oh no, wait, they don't. Like, the farthest they go in this movie is Malta. And there's a great sequence which happens at Malta, by the way. You know, you got Chris Pratt back on his bike being chased by, you know, velociraptor-like creatures. At the same time, though, you have Bryce Howard having a bit of a foot chase with these people who are chasing after her. And then you've also got Chris Pratt trying to, you know, trying to drive his motorcycle onto his airplane, otherwise he's going to be eaten by the velociraptors. And there's a great sequence of the film. It's so well done. And that sequence had me on the edge of my seat. That's what I wanted the film to be like. But no, it's not. This is the original Jurassic Park idea all over again. Get away from the original Jurassic Park. Just get away from it. But anyway, that sequence in Malta was fantastic. It really was. Because it gave you a sense of the film I wanted this film to be. You know, you saw people in that sequence, you know, trying to coexist with dinosaurs. Using dinosaurs as kind of weapons to sell off and things like that. I thought that sequence made perfect sense in the movie. And that's what I wanted the film to be about. But no. The rest of the film is just about the original Jurassic Park idea all over again. And I know I'm going on about that, but that just annoys me. This film, you didn't have to impress me with lots. I like a good monster movie. I have a soft spot for King Kong Godzilla movies. I have a soft spot for monster movies when they're fun and exciting to watch. Just make a good monster movie in this movie. But that's not even what they do. All the dinosaur action just feels lackluster, with the exception of that one sequence in Motor, which I did actually really enjoy. The rest of the movie just kind of feels like, we're kind of bored with this franchise. Let's just finish it off. Let's just get away and let's just finish it off before it's too late and we all get bored of it ourselves. Like, it just felt like the filmmakers are bored of this franchise as well. It feels like the writers are bored of this franchise, which, again, is really disheartening to say. It really is. And, like, the dinosaur stuff isn't even fun anymore. And there's so many things just falling out the wall. Like, let's have a dinosaur at this part. Let's have a sequence where our main characters are in an airplane and then a dinosaur comes and tries to take down the airplane. Let's just have that in there. Why? Because we can. Because it's a Jurassic film and we can. There's that one sequence in the trailer, that's what I'm talking about. The one sequence in the trailer, I'm not giving anything away there. But it literally serves no plot service whatsoever. It really doesn't. And so much of this film just relies on the other films as well. Like I said before, not enough of this film feels new and fresh, and the things in the film that do feel new and fresh aren't as exciting enough. But then there's so much of this film that just doesn't feel original. Like, there's so many elements in this movies, like in the past Jurassic World movies as well, but basically it has so many moments where you go, remember this part of the first Jurassic Park film? We're doing it again here, like this movie. There's quite a lot of parts of the movie which remind me of The Lost World. There's even one section of the movie which reminded me of the Spinosaurus and T-Rex fight from Jurassic Park 3, which I liked in that movie. I think that sequence is fine in that movie, but there's one part of the movie where they try to do that again here, and there's another part of the movie where it reminds you of the Indominus Rex v T-Rex fight in Jurassic World, and they did that again here. And then they even have a bit of the theme music, a bit of the Indoraptor theme from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and the musical score in this movie. I'm kind of like, why are you doing this? Why? And also, the whole Clone Girl storyline is just, it's really tiresome, it's really meandering and things like that. And like, they go back on what they said she was in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and they go back on that, they kind of retcon that, they kind of go, we didn't really agree with the major local characters written in that movie, so we're going to do our own thing in this movie. Honestly, just kind of feel like, you know, separate writers worked on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Dominion, although they didn't. Colin Trevorrow was a co-writer in both movies, so I don't know why these films feel so different. The whole Clone Girl storyline just feels like they didn't like what they did with her in Fallen Kingdom, so they're going to change it here, and it's just really annoying. And at the same time, though, it doesn't feel expansive. And I know this film was shot at the height of COVID. I know that. And maybe that's one of the big problems. And maybe the original idea for the movie was what I said. Maybe it was all about like a big monster movie. It was like an apocalyptic movie where dinosaurs were trampling all over the earth. But they couldn't do that because they shot this movie at the height of COVID, and they just wanted to get it shot and out there because it's Universal producing this, and obviously Universal, a big media conglomerate. So perhaps they just want this movie out there as soon as possible. So they said, shoot it when you can, shoot it as soon as you can after we're allowed to, after the pandemic. So maybe that was the case. Maybe they had to change a lot because this film was shot at the height of the pandemic. I don't know that. I'm just purely speculating. And maybe that's why this film feels so rushed and feels so incoherent and feels so messy and just feels so stupid as well. Maybe that's why. But honestly, I would have liked seeing that movie. And this isn't just me building a couple of ideas in my head, by the way. It really isn't, because the trailers gave the indication that this can be like an apocalyptic dinosaur movie. Honestly, watch the trailers. That's what the trailers indicate. That we're going to see dinosaurs trampling all over the world. And you get a tiny bit of that, but you don't get enough of that. You know, the end of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Say all about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I don't know that movie that much either. But the end of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom brilliantly sets up the third film. We see, you know, all the dinosaurs out into the open. I'm like, oh my god, this is brilliant. This is like a Jurassic film I've always wanted since The Lost World. Since we had that whole big San Diego T-Rex sequence at the end of The Lost World, I've always wanted to see dinosaurs trample all over the streets. I want to see more dinosaurs trample over the streets, like we did with the T-Rex in The Lost World Jurassic Park. But that's not what we get here. Even so, the end of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom sets it up. This movie kind of forgets that. This movie just goes, oh, you remember that setup at the end of the last movie? We're just gonna forget about that. And this is what we're trying to do with this movie. It's like, what? What? Why? Like, I remember seeing a trailer for this movie, and by the way, I'm rambling on about this, but I am annoyed. And I remember seeing a trailer for this movie where basically you saw all these people in a drive-in movie theatre, and then you saw a T-Rex coming behind the screen, and everyone started to run away from the T-Rex, and that looked great. I was like, if that's me we're going in for, I can't wait. Oh, no, wait, it's no. But that scene's not even in the film. That might be a bit of a spoiler there, but I don't care. But that scene's not even in the film. That's how annoyed I am. Like, That scene's not even in the movie. Where was that scene? Where was that scene in this film? Like I said, there were perks in there. I enjoy seeing Jeff Goldblum back. I enjoy seeing Sam Neill back. I enjoy seeing Laura Dern back. And at the same time, though, I do think Bryce Dallas Howard is doing her best with the script she got. I don't think Chris Pratt's even at his best in this movie, though. I think Chris Pratt is much better in the Guardians of the Galaxy films than he is in this film. I think he was much better in the first Jurassic World film and the second Jurassic World film as well, in comparison to his performance in this film. I didn't think his performance was that memorable. And at the same time, though, you know, the musical score was good by Michael Giacchino. I'm not dissing him in the case of the musical score, but I do think there should be more uses of the original Jurassic Park themes by John Williams, but I think that's more down to Colin Trevorrow and what he wanted from the score. And also, I think the visuals are good. You know, it's spectacle. In the end, if you go to the movie to get some spectacle and get a bit of enjoyment, I'm sure you'll find it in there. But from someone like me, who's a huge fan of the first Jurassic Park film, who absolutely loves that film to pieces, one of my favourite films of all time, it really is, and as somebody who thinks The Lost World Jurassic Park is a perfect Jurassic Park sequel, and somebody who really enjoys Jurassic World, I was surprised by how bad this film was. I was looking forward to it so much. Parts of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the last film in this franchise, which I really, really like, and I love the setup for the third film at the end of that film. I love the setup of the third film at the end of Fallen Kingdom, but that setup isn't followed through. And it just annoys me. And I love the fact that the original Jurassic Park cast is back, but there's literally no purpose for them being back. If they were in this movie, I dare say a lot of it would have just been the same. Which again pains me to say that. I don't want to say that. Like say Earl about the legacy characters returning in the Star Wars sequels, but Han Solo has a good, you know, narrative purpose of being there in The Force Awakens, same with Lando in The Rise of Skywalker, and same with Leia in Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, and same with Luke in The Last Jedi as well, and so on and so on and so on. There's narrative purpose for those being in those movies. It's not just there for fan service. I mean, it is, but at the same time, though, they're putting there for the narrative. They have a good narrative purpose in those movies, but there's no, you know, strong narrative purpose for having Jeff Goldblum back as Ian Malcolm, having Sam Neill back as Alan Grant, for having, you know, Laura Dern back as Ellie Sattler. No proper narrative purpose, and like Sam Neill doesn't need to be in this movie. Sam Neill's great in this movie. I really enjoyed watching him. I really did, but he didn't need to be in this movie. So much of this film just pains me. It really does, and it makes me sad. Like, I must admit, I tried filming my view of this yesterday, and I just got sad talking about it, so I just gave up. And I've got sad again talking about it here, because I was looking forward to the movie so much. It was like my second most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. After the Batman came out, this is my second most anticipated from the rest of the year. I love the trailers. And the parts of me which I love the whole moat sequence. I think it's unbelievably fun to watch, but then the rest of the movie just feels messy, incoherent, like there's been splatting things together, and like nothing really holding together. The action sequences, with the exception of that one sequence in Motor, are laughable, and the returning characters from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, you know, those two nerdy scientist characters, which are helping Claire, you know, try and save the dinosaurs off the island in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, are back for a little bit in this movie, but just kind of felt like the writers thought, oh, well, the characters weren't really liked in that movie, so we're going to bring them back here, but we're going to write them out of it pretty quickly. If you understand who I'm talking about there, you understand who I'm talking about. Hopefully you do. If you don't, I do apologise. But yeah, it's kind of felt like the whole situation with Rose and Star Wars again. It just kind of feels like the character wasn't liked in the previous movies. They're going to write them out of this movie, which is a bit of a shame, because they've actually could have done something really unique with those characters. The amazing local character is doubled down on, and not in a good way whatsoever. And this movie should have just been about dinosaurs trampling the world. That's what the trailers indicated. We see our heroes from the first Jurassic Park film interacting with the heroes from the first Jurassic World film, from the Jurassic World movies. We should have seen those characters interacting with one another while they try and save all the people from these dinosaurs wreaking havoc all over the world. But that's not what this film is about. That's what this film should have been about. That's not what it's about. And in the end, it's about locusts. It's about this new park that they're doing. Again, it's about... I don't even really know what it's about. It's about 10 different plot lines, none of which I really cared about. I want to see dinosaurs wreaking havoc. You don't have to press me much with a dinosaur movie. You really don't. It's amazing how disappointed I am in this movie. It's amazing how annoyed it is as well. Like, oh God. I hate being disappointed by films I'm looking forward to so much. I really do. And I don't enjoy complaining about movies, by the way. You know, I came out of the cinema yesterday, and my brother said to me, you know, I haven't seen you in a long while come out of the cinema and talk about a film that you absolutely love. I'm like, well, I'm going to think of quite a few examples. The Batman, I came out of that and absolutely adored it. I did my 20-minute review of The Batman because I was talking about how much I loved it. It might have even been about half an hour that review. I did a 20-minute review of The Northman because I adored that film so much. I did, you know, a review of The Phantom of the Opera, which I absolutely adored. And even, you know, Top Gun Maverick, I really enjoyed that movie. And it came out of the cinema with a huge grin on my face because I enjoyed it. And there's plenty of examples as well that I can't think of off the top of my head. But I do love talking about films that I love on this channel. I really do. I'd much rather come out of every single movie and go, that was brilliant. It really was. But, oh god, I feel much like I did coming out of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Meandering, which I've now renamed that movie. Instead of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness now, it's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Meandering. Much like when I came out of that movie, I feel the same here. It just feels like the writers didn't really know what they wanted to do. It feels like the film was rushed. It feels like so much being in front of the wall, and none of it's really sticking. It doesn't feel Jurassic enough. It didn't feel like a conclusion, and it just kind of felt so bad. It really did, and it really annoyed me. And that's saying a lot, because I'm looking forward to this film so much. But ultimately, Jurassic World Dominion is probably the most disappointing film I've seen in a very long time. And I'm going to say that it's a 3 out of 10. Now, I should say, I am going to go and see the film again. I maybe want to watch it again. I have a far better time with it. Bear in mind, I did watch this not feeling that well the first time. But I've seen the films not feeling that well, you know, the first time in the past, and still really liked them. Actually, when I saw The Batman for the first time, I was feeling really tired, and I came out of that movie, absolutely adored it. So there you go there. And, you know, I will go and see it again, and hopefully I'll like it a lot more. But for now, I can't believe how bad it is. I really can't. And that's a shame. And it's really painful to say that. Because I was looking forward to this movie so much. And I'm a fan of the first Jurassic World. I think The Lost World Jurassic Park is a perfect Jurassic Park sequel. And I think that the original Jurassic Park is amazing. It's one of my favourite movies of all time. But I'm going to be honest, I even think Jurassic Park 3, which I think is an atrocity, is better than this movie. I think that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is better than this movie. I remember coming out of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for the first time, and, you know, I was feeling high. I was like, oh my god, that film was great. I mean, I've seen the film since, and it's obviously not as good. I don't think Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is actually that good of a movie, but I remember coming out of it the first time and really enjoying myself. But I didn't even get that feeling coming out of Jurassic World Dominion. I didn't get a feeling of, oh, that was really a lot of fun to watch. I didn't have that feeling. And maybe that's because it didn't feel like a Jurassic film enough. I know dinosaurs are in there, but that doesn't make it Jurassic anymore. You know, there's plenty of films with dinosaurs in nowadays. Plenty of TV shows with dinosaurs. Just because dinosaurs are in a movie doesn't make it a Jurassic film. It needs to have that sense of awe, that sense of wonder, that sense of joy, that sense of adventure. And this film doesn't have that. It doesn't have any of that, which is really annoying. Say all about The Lost World, Jurassic Park. I understand that that movie may not have that same sense of wonder and joy that the first Jurassic Park film does. But at the same time, no, it has a sense of adventure. It has a sense of edgy, exciting action in there. And this movie doesn't. You know, the first Jurassic World does as well. The first Jurassic World has a sense of joy, it has a sense of wonder, it has a sense of adventure. But this movie doesn't. Even Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom has a sense of adventure. Even Jurassic Park 3 has some sense of adventure. Not particularly good sense of adventure, but it does. But this movie doesn't really have that. It just kind of feels like we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go here. We're going to put all this on the wall. Remember this part from the first Jurassic Park film? We're going to do it again here. Remember that part from The Lost World? We're going to do it again here. Remember that part from the first Jurassic World? We're going to do it again here. Remember that part from Jurassic Park 3, which is actually kind of cool? We're going to do it again here. Remember that part from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? We're going to do it again here. Why? Because we can. Why? Why? Because we can. And by the way, one thing I always got to mention is that I talked about this in my video that I made about Jurassic World Dominion, about why I'm not as excited for it as I want to be a couple of weeks back. But one thing I almost got to mention is that, you know, Colin, the director of the movie, said this was a movie he always wanted to make. He said that he knew he had to make the first Jurassic World film and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in order to make this movie. And he served as a co-writer in all 3 films. He directed the first Jurassic World film. He didn't direct the second, but he was a co-writer on that movie. And he's a co-writer and director on this movie, much like he was in the first Jurassic World. And I was going into something thinking, okay, I'm gonna finally see what Colin Trevorrow's plan was the entire time. Don't have a clue what it was. Honestly, I don't have a clue what his plan was. I've seen the movie, I don't have a clue what his plan was. Anyway, all in all, I think that Jurassic World Dominion is absolutely terrible. and it was so disappointing. It was monumentally disappointing because it's my second most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. And even so, it does have its moments. It does have some good moments. Ultimately, it's boring. It's lackluster. It's pulling in all these different directions. It just feels like it's been splattered together. It feels rushed, and it doesn't feel Jurassic enough. It doesn't feel like a conclusion to this franchise. And it really had me not caring about the future of this franchise, potential future of this franchise. Like, I dare say there'll be a soft reboot of this franchise in about 10 years' time. But I'm going to be honest, I don't care what there is now. I don't care what there is. And that takes a lot for me to say that. It does. But, well done, Jurassic World Dominion did that for me. Jurassic World Dominion made me not care about the potential future of this franchise, which is saying a lot. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Jurassic World Dominion is absolutely terrible and that was monumentally disappointing. And I'm also going to say that it's a 3 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Jurassic World Dominion? Did you enjoy it more than me? And I hope you did. Please comment down below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like subscribe on this video. And look forward to many more, both film and TV reviews, come very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.